Hey guys, it's me, Miss Mills, and welcome to Mrs. Mills's Math Time. The whole point of this video is to show you how to create an equation off of a graph or of a table. So what I'm going to use as examples on how to do that is your graph and table matching sheet. So I will be using examples directly from this sheet. So if you don't have this out, I recommend getting it out because I don't know if I'm doing these as examples, you might get 1 or 2 or 3 answers off of me. So we will be using the slope formula, or sorry, well, yeah, we'll be using the slope formula too, but the whole goal is to use the table or to use the graph to create an equation. And that equation is going to be slope-intercept form. And what slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, and b is your y-intercept. Okay? So if that's the case, that means when you have a table or you have a graph, there are 2 things you need to find. The first thing you need to find is the slope. The second thing you need to find is the y-intercept. Once you find those, you can put them into this equation, putting the slope where the m is and putting the y-intercept where the plus b is, and you'll be good to go. And that will be your answer. So let's do a few of these examples together and let's figure it out. All right. So let's go to our graph and table matching sheet. So on this second slide, I give you all of the equations. These are all of the answers. You just have to match the correct equation with the correct graph or table. So let's look at number 1. We're going to use this graph and we're going to find out what is the equation for this graph. So the first thing we need to find is the slope. So to find the slope of a graph, remember we need to find the rise over run. Or on your 2 points, you need to figure out how much you rose to get to the point, and that's going to be your numerator, and how much you ran from left to right, and that's going to be your denominator. So let's try that out real quick. Let me erase this. Let's try that out real quick. So let's go back to the table, or sorry, let's go back to the graph and let's find this slope. So first step is to pick 2 points on the graph. I will pick this one and this one. So I picked this one and then I followed the line till there was another intersection. It's that right there. So from here to here, I moved up 1, 2, 3 times. So the numerator is going to be 3. And then from here to here, I moved 1 time. So the denominator is going to be 1. 3 over 1 can be reduced to 3, and that is going to be our slope. So I'm going to go back to my notes over here, and I'm going to write the slope as 3. All right, cool. So let me erase these real quick. And now let's try to find the y-intercept. So the y-intercept on a graph is when you're following the line, where does the line cross the y-axis? The y-axis is the vertical axis. It's this one right here. So we need to figure out where does the line cross that axis. And if we follow that line, it crosses at positive 1. So our y-intercept is going to be positive 1. All right, cool. So let me put that into here. My y-intercept is going to be plus 1. Now that I have the slope and the y-intercept, I can put this into the slope or the slope-intercept form. So again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and plus b is the y-intercept. M is slope. The slope of this graph was 3, so I can go ahead and substitute 3 where m is. The y-intercept on this graph was plus 1, so I can go ahead and put plus 1 where b is, and that is going to be our answer. is y equals 3x plus 1. So now that I know that that's the answer, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to erase that. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go back to the second one. And now I need to find y equals 3x plus 1. Here it is. So I can go ahead and, let's go back up. It's right here, so I can go ahead and color that in so I don't get confused later. And I can put in, I really need to erase these. I thought I erased them already. Eek. And then I can put in the equation right here. So the equation to this was y equals 3x plus 1. All right. So now let's find the equation for the table. So how you find the equation on the table is you do have to use the slope formula. And if you remember, the slope formula was basically your change. I don't want that. It was your change of y over your change of x, which is the same thing as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we need two ordered pairs and put them into this formula to find the slope. So to find two ordered pairs, we need an x and a y. Well, here's an ordered pair right here. We have 0 and 3, because 0 is x and 3 is y, so I'll go ahead and put 0 and 3. And then the second ordered pair I have is 1 and 4. Okay, so that's my second ordered pair. Cool. So now let's label them as y1 and or x1 and y1, and then x2 and y2. So since this is the first ordered pair I see, I'll make this x1 and y1. Since this is the second ordered pair I see, I'll make this x2 and y2. So let's go ahead and put these in the slope formula. So what I need first is y2. y2 is going to be 4. So I'll mark that out. We're going to subtract that by y1, which is 3. So I'll mark that out. We're going to put that over x2, which is 1. Mark that out. And we're going to subtract that by x1, which is 0. Once you have them in here, we can go ahead and solve. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. So our slope is going to be 1. All right. So I'm going to erase all of this, and I'm going to have m equals 1, because remember, m equals slope. So we have the slope. Now we need the y-intercept. So you're probably wondering, how do I find the y-intercept of a table? You can't look at it like a graph. Well, you can. This is what you're going to look for. The y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. The line always crosses the y-axis at where x equals 0. So x equals 0 up here, and the line crosses the y-axis at where 0 is. So on the table, we just have to look, well, what is the y when x is 0? When x is 0, the y is 3. So that means our y-intercept is a positive 3. Once we have that, we can put it into the slope or into the slope-intercept form. So our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is 1, so I'll put y equals 1x. And then plus 3 is, plus 3, positive 3 is our b, so I'll put plus 3 in there. You don't have to put the 1 next to the x because it's assumed already, so we can go ahead and just put x plus 3. So that's our slope. Okay, so now we got to go back to our graph and find where is x plus 3. Well, x plus 3 is right here. So I can color that in. I can copy that x, or I can copy that equation, and I can put it here. And there you go. So now we have the equation for the graph in this table. Now we can keep going. I'm going to go to a random graph and then a random table, and then I'm going to be done. So let's do this graph in this table. Let's do this graph in this table. So let's look at the table first. we have to find the slope, and then we have to find the y-intercept. So the slope here, I need to find 2 ordered pairs. The first ordered pair I'm going to choose is 0, 0. That'll be easy. I'll make 0, 0. And then the second ordered pair I'm going to use is 1 and -3. All right, let's do the math. So the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, so I'll label this as x1 and y1 because it's the first ordered pair I see, and I'll make this x2 and y2 because it's the second ordered pair that I see. Now I can put it into the formula. What I need first is y2. y2 is -3. I'll mark that out. Next, and then I need y1. y1 is 0. Mark it out. And then I need x2, which is 1. Mark it out. And I'm going to subtract that by 0, which is x1. -3 minus 0 is -3, and 1 minus 0 is 1. -3 over 1 can be reduced to -3, so therefore -3 is our slope. So we found that. Now we need to find the y-intercept. So again, on a table, to figure out where the y-intercept is we just have to figure out what is y when x is 0. Well, in this case, when x is 0, y is also 0. So that means the y-intercept is going to be 0. So let's go back here. B equals 0. Now we can put this into slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. M is -3, so y equals -3x. B is plus 0. All right. So here's the thing. You don't have to put plus 0 on anything. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't take away anything. So therefore, we don't have to have that. So our equation is going to be y equals -3x. Okay. Let's go back to our equations. Which one of these is y equals -3x? Here it is. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to fill that in so I don't see it later. And I will go ahead and put that on this table. All right, and now I'm going to do the last graph for y'all. This is going to be a negative graph, so let's look at it real quick. All right, so the first thing I need to find on this graph is the slope, and the second thing I need to find on this graph is the y-intercept. So to find the slope, again, we need to do the rise over run. So we need to pick 2 points. Okay. And from my left point to my right point, I rose -1, 2, 3 times because I went down. So this is a -3. So I rose -3 times because I did go down, I did not rise. And then it's going to be from here to here. I ran a +1 time. Whenever you're doing a graph like this, the denominator will always be positive because you're always reading it from left to right. Okay, so be very careful with that. So I ended up with a slope of -3 over 1, which is just -3. So let me erase all of this and go back to my table, or go back to my iPad. We decided, or we figured out, that the slope is -3. Now we need the y-intercept. So again, the y-intercept is where this line crosses this vertical axis. And if we follow the line, it crosses at -3. So b equals -3. Now that we have our slope and our y-intercept, we can put it into the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. M is -3, so I'll go ahead and plug that in. Ooh. And then -3 is our b, so I'll go ahead and put in -3 right there, and that is going to be our answer. So now I need to go back to here and find which one of these is -3 is -3x minus 3. Well, if I'm looking, we have it right here. So I'll copy that equation, and I fill it in, and I will put it on the correct graph. All right, guys, that's all this is. It's just finding the slope and finding the y-intercept and putting it into the slope-intercept form correctly. Guys, I hope this video helps with this matching sheet. I know it's going to be difficult, but this is something that I really wanted to hit hard, and I wanted y'all to practice, practice, practice until we got it. So if you have any questions on this sheet, don't hesitate to ask. I'm always happy to help. I hope y'all have a wonderful Christmas break, and I will see you later. Bye.